Hi and welcome to Movies Suck. Today, I'm reviewing a movie named Extraction. And no, this is not a movie about a spy masquerading as a dentist who has to remove an explosive tooth from the President of the United States before he goes for a meeting with the world leaders and blows them all up. This is in fact an action movie starring Chris Hemsworth and directed by Sam Hargrave in his first big movie directing job, as previously he has only directed a few shorts, most of which he wrote himself. He is in fact much better known as a stuntman, stunt coordinator and fight coordinator. And it really shows in this movie, as some of the set pieces and fight scenes have to be seen to be believed. They are seamless, and just amazing to watch. Although, that said, there were a couple of moments that really dragged me out of the exaggerated realism that the director was going for. Namely, one moment where Hemsworth grabs what clearly appears to be a dummy and uses it to break someone's neck. And also the sheer body count of this movie, which just feels very unrealistic. People get shot all over the place, and the good guys never seem to miss or get things wrong. They are just perfectly competent at all times. The bad guys, on the other hand, are just faceless cannon fodder, literally faceless, as they all seem to be wearing masks. I imagine that they only needed about 10 stunt guys to play the bad guys in the whole movie. They must have been knackered after a month of this. And their only purpose is to be spectacularly blown up when a grenade is thrown, or fall down convincingly when shot, or allow Chris to kick their asses in what has to be said are very well choreographed hand-to-hand fight scenes. Hemsworth is very good as Australian mercenary Tyler Rake, and yes, he actually gets to use his normal Australian accent, which must have been a novel experience for him, or for any Australian actors. They mostly seem to pretend to be English. Rake has been called in to rescue an Indian drug lord's son from another Indian drug lord. He is brought in by Saviour, who I think was a policeman, not entirely sure. He himself is also ex-Special Forces, who has been threatened by the drug lord father that if he does not rescue the boy from, the other drug lord, then his own son will be killed instead, or as well. So Saviour organises for Rake to do the deed for him, but because he cannot actually afford Rake's services, he plans a double cross. And from here the shit really hits the fan, and there are likely to be very few winners as this situation comes to a head, with Rake's hell-bent on rescuing the boy, and Saviour desperately trying to make sure his family will be safe, and the kidnapper drug lord, for reasons that are never explained any further than just a rivalry between him and the kidnapper boy's father, drug lord, just goes to extraordinary lengths to recapture the boy. No real idea why, he just does. Honestly, the story in this movie is simple but mindless. It's just an excuse for a lot of violence and almost no intelligence required, which for the most part is what you expect from a good action movie. And while this movie does make some attempt at a convincing backstory, it feels like an afterthought no matter which character you look at. They all feel as though their backstories were just tacked on to what the writer thought was a cool premise for a movie. It isn't even close to being a new idea. In fact, this movie itself has been knocking around for a little while. It was previously titled Ciudad and was set in South America, which when you are talking about drug lords makes a hell of a lot more sense. It started life as a graphic novel of the same name, which I have read and wasn't half bad, although that's not a recommendation to read it as, like the movie, it wasn't that great either. The movie actually manages to follow the graphic novel almost scene for scene for the most part. It was a ready-made storyboard, although why they chose to change the location from South America to India is a mystery that is either explained by the woke nature of Hollywood, or perhaps it's just that the cost of production was reduced by the geographic change of location. All of the actors do a very good job in their roles, with the boy being a bit of a standout, and the guy playing the double-crossing Saviour being well chosen for the role. Chris Hemsworth managed to inject a little emotion into what was written originally as just a badass mercenary role. And as mentioned, the rest of the cast were just there to be shot, exploded, stabbed in as many imaginative ways as the writer could fit into the fast-paced plot. By the time the credits rolled, I was left in the quandary of trying to decide if I had actually enjoyed this movie or not. Which sounds like a stupid question, but is one that I always ask myself when I finish a movie. As if a movie is great, it will have you thinking and pondering upon the issues raised and the actions taken for days, sometimes even weeks. The same can be said for when a movie is bad, although in that case your ponderings are mostly based along the lines of, what the bloody hell were they thinking? So, in the cold light of day, Did I enjoy Extraction? And the answer is both yes and no. Yes, I enjoyed the carefully crafted stunt and camera work, and I also enjoyed seeing Chris Hemsworth in a more serious role, at least as far as the character is concerned. As far as the movie is concerned, it almost makes it into an action comedy genre, just by how unbelievable it is, if not for the deliberate humour. And there is a little bit of deliberate humour, most notably when Hemsworth character Rake encounters some wannabe gangster kids and bitch slaps some sense into them. I didn't enjoy how run-of-the-mill the story was. We have seen this a million times, and we have seen it done better than this on many occasions. I think locating it in South America, as per the graphic novel, would have been a better choice thematically, though. So, my verdict is that if what you are looking for is a movie with non-stop action, a complete disregard for human life that asks you to leave your brain at the door on the way in, this is the movie for you. If what you are looking for is a movie that takes some time out of its busy schedule to bitch slap some kids that are taking a bad path that will eventually lead them to a life of crime, and then spends the rest of the time shooting the adults those kids will eventually become, then this is the movie for you. But if what you are looking for is a thinking man's action movie that pays off when you notice all the little intricate details of the dialogue and the plotting, and which will have you sitting back after it finishes thinking, damn, I'm going to have to watch that again, then this is not the movie for you. Hollywood doesn't make those movies anymore. It is too hard to fit into their intersectionalist feminist agendas. We're damn lucky we even got a film this devoid of woke nonsense. So, you are, I am afraid, shit out of luck. But do not fear. The old movies haven't gone anywhere. You can still find what you were looking for. This has been Movie Suck saying, I could have sworn this would be a movie about dentists. But I'm glad it isn't. I can still hear the drill. It haunts my dreams. Signing out. Leave a like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.